The Brew Crew gives LA some Dodger blues as they hand Yoshinobu Yamamoto his shortest start he's ever had in MLB. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
This is Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. My name is Jon Frisch. I'm one half of Locked On Angels. With me is my partner, JD Hafron of Locked On Cardinals. We're hearing you all around the league on this shorter slate of games, but still a lot of action across MLB. The Tigers add another W to the win column. Are the Giants back? And how about a walk to walk off a game? We're going to get into all that and so much more. First, we want to thank today's sponsor, FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. JD, we're going to take it to the land of the cheese. We're going to Milwaukee as the Dodgers meet the Brewers to begin a 3-game set on Monday. Now, the Dodgers were just swept by the Houston Astros in Los Angeles over the weekend. The first game, Friday, was an 18-1 Dodgers loss. Meanwhile, the Brewers, they're kind of creeping up that NL Central, and they're ahead of your Cardinals right now, and they're creeping up toward those Cubbies, and so they're trying to get themselves into the conversation when it comes to the NL Central. It was Freddie Peralta versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound, and that's where the Brewers were able to put the hurt on in the first inning. Chuck from Locked On Brewers is going to give us the details and tell us all about it.
The Brewers, a home underdog. I don't care if they're playing the 27 Yankees. I love the Brewers when they're a home underdog, and they came through, and the Brewers get the job done. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Andrew Vaughn. A thing with the Brewers is when a guy gets traded to the Brewers or he gets called up from AAA, the Brewers don't waste any time. They just put him in the lineup right away. If they called up Andrew Vaughn, hit the first inning, 3-run home run. They don't want this guy wasted on the bench. They just baptize him right away. And then Freddie does Freddie things. Peralta was terrific again tonight. And the Brewers take the opener against a depleted Dodgers team. It looked like the Dodgers were somewhat going through the motions after the Brewers got that early lead. Let's face it, the Dodgers kind of mailed that one in. They've lost 4 in a row. Hey, they could do that for the next 2 days. I'd be good with that. See you tonight. Next edition of Locked On Brewers. Talk about all this. See you then. Please subscribe.
I'm glad Chuck specified which Freddie he was referring to, because Freddie Peralta was very good in this one. But, of course, you got Freddie Freeman on the other side for the Dodgers. But after that 3-run home run from Andrew Vaughn, Mookie Betts had an error that led to a run scoring, and then another run came in on a single. It was Yoshinobu Yamamoto's shortest start of his career in Major League Baseball, 2/3 of an inning, and all the damage that came on those 5 runs came with 2 outs. Now, JD, I keep hearing this narrative that, the Dodgers weren't playing their best. Everybody's hurt. That's why the Astros swept them. But you look at this lineup today, still have Shohei, Mookie, Will Smith, Pages, Yamamoto started. Am I crazy, or are they still in good shape? What do you say?
I mean, every franchise in baseball would want just one of those guys to be in their lineup.
We had one of those guys, and we couldn't win games.
they got 4 of them on their team, and they're still losing. Yeah, the Dodgers going through a bit of a tough time just at this moment. It is going to happen throughout a season like this. You're getting close to the All-Star break. People are exhausted, and I don't know. Maybe the Dodgers are just playing with a whole lot of energy at the moment. Maybe they're bored. I don't know, but nobody's going to feel sorry for these guys. They have this $1 billion lineup, and they'll be fine. They're going to be fine. I'm sure they're going to make some moves. Obviously, they're getting some big names that are supposed to come back at some point, like Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki. The reinforcements are coming. I'm sure they'll make some moves at the deadline to try to reinforce some issues where injuries have taken over. But I'm not worried about them, and I don't feel sorry for them. This is what teams go through. And, other teams taking advantage like Milwaukee, which sucks for my team in the NL Central. But
Right.
That's what good teams do. They take advantage of teams when they're going through it. And that's what Milwaukee did. Milwaukee, like with them right behind the Cubs right now in the NL Central and already in a wild card spot and getting Brandon Woodruff back and, with the Miz, being the phenom that he's been so far. Peralta's been great. I'm sure Milwaukee's looking at making a couple extra moves too. Won't be major moves, I wouldn't expect, but trade deadline stuff, something very brewery, right? Where it's just going to be a simple, but like an Andrew Vaughn, like they get him,
What the heck?
number 3 overall pick, and boom, he gets into a new area, gets out of Chicago, and starts contributing right away. So that's what the good teams do.
You said brewery, and now I'm thirsty. Now, if the Dodgers need some bullpen help, I know a great closer that they're all too familiar with who might, take a trip up the 5 freeway and land himself in Los Angeles. But we'll see. We'll see where the Angels are at the trade.
Interesting possibility.
Yeah, exactly. So all that to say, a 9-1 victory for the Brewers to start off this series. Let's take it to the AL Central, sort of. The Rays meet the Tigers in Detroit. The Tigers are sitting at the top of first place in the AL Central. And with the best record in baseball, the Rays found themselves coming into Monday with the same record as the New York Yankees. And you certainly wouldn't have guessed that with the way things started out for them. And so they went to Detroit to face them. Let's find out from Scott of Locked On Tigers, who came away with the win in this one.
Tigers are now the first team to 58 wins, and I just will never get old of saying that they're the first team to every win total since 40? I'm Scott Bentley, host of Locked On Tigers. What an awesome year, and that is the Tigers' 4th straight victory after sweeping Cleveland. They win Game 1 against the Rays on Monday night, 5-1 final. Cater Montero gets called up from a month stint in AAA and throws 6 innings of 1-run ball against the Tampa Bay Rays lineup. That is the strength of this team. They have unreal pitching depth, and that is the biggest reason why they find themselves here. Another big reason is offensive production from people that maybe got off to a slow start or had poor years last year. Colt Keith, 3 for 4 with a homer. This guy has been one of the most underrated players in baseball since the middle of May, and now his season stats just straight up look really good. It's awesome. Riley Green with an RBI. Hopefully, you got Pepio tomorrow, which is always a tall task. We'll see if Jack Flaherty can get a bounce back. We'll talk about that and more on Locked On Tigers.
Yeah, good stuff from Scott right there. And he mentioned the home runs. Colt Keith, Zach McKinstry had a big bomb. Javi Baez also homered in this one. Shane Baz for the Rays, he didn't have a bad start. He left the game after just giving up 3 earned runs, but the Rays just really couldn't get it going with just 5 hits and only scoring the 1 run. JD, I happen to love Scott basking in each and every win, saying the Tigers are the first team to 58 wins and 59 wins. I love that. If I were him, I'd do that, especially where the Tigers have been over the last couple of years and now where they are now. I would do that. Would you do that for the Cardinals?
I don't mind you rubbing it in people's faces for a little while. You feel the cockiness. Go ahead, enjoy it while it's there, because it doesn't always last that long. And Detroit knows, as you mentioned, they've had enough struggles over the years, and now to be where they are and just being a consistent team. They haven't dealt with a ton of injuries. They've only had 3 in a row is the most they've lost so far this year. That's their biggest losing streak. There's something to that, and it's being able to get contributions from a lot of different people throughout that lineup, but also, as he mentioned, pitching, getting good pitching, and their bullpen solid, starting pitching solid. Tarek Skubal, he's all right. It's a nice combination that they got there. I don't think many people expected them to be as good as they are and as consistent as they have been. We'll see if they can keep it up in the second half, but there's been no reason to believe they can't.
There's been a lot of talk because of the trade deadline coming up, especially in Angel Land, of do you think the Angels could pull a Tigers and still sell, but maybe still make it?
We're all trying to do that now, aren't we? We're all let's pull a Detroit.
Let's do a Tigers. But the thing is I don't think I've ever seen a team with all of their promising guys that they're oh, he could be this, he could be that. It all clicked for them last year. Literally every guy that they were banking on getting good at some point all got good at the same time. And they've just carried that into this season as well.
And that's the thing too. It's not normal. It's lightning in a bottle,
right.
and they were just able to continue the momentum into this season, and good for them. But like, you know how it is, copycat leagues throughout most pro sports. And when you say like the Angels, like, can we, trade away but still get better? Like,
right.
It doesn't normally work that way. If it does, thank your lucky stars, because it's not normal.
Yeah, because then you can count, win 58 and win 59 like Scott's doing this. Now, Scott did mention the Tigers sweeping the Guardians over the weekend. Could the Guardians finally snap their losing streak? That's next on MLB Game Night.
Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every moment and game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? Live a little bit with FanDuel. You can get in on the game with, your friends who aren't out getting sunburned at the beach like Chuck from Locked On Brewers was. Sunscreen, Chuck, come on, man. You got to be better than that. I've been using FanDuel for many years now to track my favorite matchups, and the app does one thing that I love about it that stands above everything else for me, and that's keeping things fresh. I don't feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over. That would be boring, right? They keep it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet, so it never feels like you're just doing the same thing and going through the motions. It's super easy to use. You get a fast payout, and it makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're part of the action. And if you are new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started.
This is Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, we're taking it to San Francisco, where the Phillies came away from the weekend with a series victory over the Cincinnati Reds. Zach Wheeler threw a one-hit complete game for Philadelphia on Sunday. They met the Giants in SF, who seemed to kind of get their groove back over the weekend. They hit around the A's in Sacramento in the final two games of the series. And more importantly, they got Matt Chapman back over at third and in the lineup. And that was a big boost for them as well. He made an immediate impact offensively. Now, we're going to hear from a disappointed Connor Thomas of Locked On Phillies. He's got the story from what went down in San Francisco.
The Phillies dropped game one out in San Francisco. Christopher Sanchez's great start was wasted because this offense just cannot create enough runs right now. And also, we're going to talk about Phil Cuzzi. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. We'll get to the umpire later. But Christopher Sanchez battled tonight. He had a rough second inning, only gave up one run with the bases loaded and no outs, and ended up putting together 7 strong innings. He should be an all-star. Major snub by Major League Baseball. But it doesn't matter if you don't score, and the Phillies were only able to scrape across one run, and it was frankly lucky that they got the one with like a weird hop on a Bryson Stott double. So this offense needs to start producing runs. They need the guys at the top to start driving in more. We'll see if that happens, but you need Bryce Harper to go back to being Bryce Harper. And Phil Cuzzi needs to go back to some other job because he was terrible in the 8th inning, and it cost the Phillies majorly. So, I don't know, man. We'll talk umpires and much more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Man, I cannot wait until we get the ABS system, at least where you can challenge stuff, because the Angels had some bad calls. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But not a single run scored on a hit tonight, JD. The Giants,
that's a weird game.
Yeah. The Giants scored 2 on 2 ground outs and a fielder's choice, while the Phillies scored it on a wild pitch, as Connor mentioned. Some good pitching in this one. Landon Roop, 5 innings for the Giants. Matt Chapman went 3 for 4 with 2 runs. But San Francisco was 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, but they still get the win. And of course, Connor mentioned Christopher Sanchez, who, didn't take the loss, just, the tough luck here with 7 innings pitched, 1 run, 7 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Phillies were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Now, he mentioned Bryce Harper, and you've got some interesting stats here about Harper since he's returned from injury, right, JD?
Yeah, he's going through it, man. You can see he's still trying to get up to speed with Major League pitching. 1 for 3 in this game, had a single in that first inning. But after missing most of June with the injuries, he's now just 4 for 20 since returning. That's a 200 batting average. Does not have an extra base hit, so that means no home runs. Doesn't have an RBI. And has struck out 10 times. So still looking for it, still getting that timing back. But as you know, Bryce Harper, when he gets going again, this Phillies offense will get rolling again. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, no, I know the offense was not quite there for the Giants, and they did manage to get the win. But JD, are the Giants back? Are they back in their groove? Let's go.
I think it's a solid team. Adding Devers is never going to hurt you, although he hasn't been the guy that they were hoping he'd be right away. But we know it was a matter of time before you got to get comfortable with these things. You know, I mean, imagine moving cross country and starting a new job and having to be awesome in front of millions of people every night. Like, it's not easy to do what they do. I know everybody's like, well, they make millions. I don't feel bad for them. Dude, it's not easy to do what just happened to Rafael Devers. And so it's going to take some time. But getting Chapman back, obviously injuries are a major thing there. So now you're getting 2 bats back in the lineup. Willie Adames is starting to get going a little bit. So I think it's on the up and up, and I wouldn't expect anything less than more moves by the San Francisco Giants as they continue to fight, not only to stick around in the division in the NL West, but certainly in the wild card as well.
Yeah, I could see them adding some sort of starting pitcher.
Buster Posey, clearly with the move for Devers, he's not going to be shy and just sit back and go, okay, we're out. But no, he's not going to do that. He's going to be aggressive, and I like that.
I love that Buster's making those decisions. That's awesome. All right, let's take it to Houston. The Astros riding high atop the AL West, and they host the Guardians at home. They swept the Dodgers. The Guardians haven't had a win in their last 10 games. It's been brutal for Cleveland. And then they got to go in and face the red hot Astros at home. So how would this one turn out with Justin of Locked On Guardians? He's got the answer for us.
Over. It's over. Cleveland is the city of champions again. All right, let's not go that far. The Guardians finally won a game, but it feels like a big deal, right? This is Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians finally won a game. And I don't even know how they did this one, because they had a no-hitter going through 4 innings with Tanner Bybee, who I would have believed could have been the stopper of this losing streak the last time he pitched. And ironically, the last time they scored this many runs, he also pitched, and they also lost. Guardians took a 4-0 lead on a home run from Jose Ramirez, who's finally starting to come out of it a little bit. He had a home run against Detroit and a home run tonight. Tanner Bybee carries a no-hitter into the 5th inning and then gives up a seeing eye single to start the inning, and then he throws 3 more bad pitches. 2 of them are home runs, and all of a sudden it's a 4-4 game. Thankfully, though, the Guardians never gave up the lead. They tried to put Matt Fest in too long, and he gave up a run, but that's okay because they were already up. David Fry had a home run for a little bit of insurance in the 8th inning. That was only a home run in Houston, but you know what? Those are the kind of bounces you need to get out of a losing streak. Can the Guardians start a winning streak on Tuesday against Hunter Brown and the Astros? Come back to Locked On Guardians to find out.
JD, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. As Jose Ramirez goes, so too go the Guardians. Tonight, 2 for 5 with a home run and a double, 3 RBIs on the night, because I feel like I'm onto something, because he had a 6-game hitless streak over that losing streak. Now, he did get hit on the forearm a little over a week ago, and since then he had not been great. But look, I feel like when he's working, so is the rest of the Guardians team. What do you think?
I completely agree with you, and I don't know why anybody would ever pitch to Jose Ramirez with the lineup that is surrounding him. Not to be a jerk, but like I'd rather take my chances with 58-year-old Carlos Santana, Kyle Manzardo, Nolan Jones. I mean, some of these guys they got out there with the Guardians lineup. I mean, that's not much protection. He's kind of Ramirez is on an island by himself. And, going into their series with the Cardinals, that was the one thing I said. And that was where he had just gotten hit before they played. That's when he missed that first game. And this losing streak started. I was like, just don't let him beat you. I was like, if somebody else is going to beat you in that lineup, so be it. But just don't let him do it. And that's how you can slow down this Guardians offense. They need help. He needs help. He needs somebody else to pick up the load. Santana's not even having that bad of a season, really.
Sure.
A couple of his numbers are down, and they traded Josh Naylor away and sent him to the Diamondbacks, and his numbers are pretty comparable to what Santana is doing. So it's not like he's off having this incredible season as well. It's a good one, but they need more. He needs more, and they're like the third worst record in the American League right now, or fourth right now after the win. So they got some work to do. But I looking at their line, I can't see them catching back up and getting into this thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult climb to the top for sure. Let me take you to Anaheim, where the Rangers came to town.
Let's go.
We had AL All-Star Jacob deGrom facing fellow AL All-Star Yusei Kikuchi. deGrom coming into this game, 9-2, a 2.13 ERA, 100 strikeouts. Listen to this, 0.888 whip, an eighth of a person getting on base per inning. For Kikuchi, he's 3-6 with a 2.81 ERA, 106 strikeouts, and a 1.368 whip. So in this one, they didn't do any of that good stuff that they've been doing. Kikuchi gave up 4 earned runs, 2 in the first and 2 in the third. And then deGrom gave up 3 earned runs in the first 2 innings. How about a 2-run shot from his former battery mate from their Mets days, Travis d'Arnaud? He's caught him 60 times. And nobody knows a pitcher better than their catcher who's got them that many times. That actually ended deGrom's streak of 13 consecutive starts of 2 runs or less. That went out the window in the second inning. He left with a 4-3 lead. Travis d'Arnaud got an RBI double to tie it. And then Lamont Wade Jr. brought him in for the lead in the 6th. But then the Rangers tied it up. A pass ball strikeout that would have been the third out, put Jake Berger on base, and the Rangers tied it up. But then, in the bottom of the 9th, it's bases loaded. Nolan Shawnuel at the plate takes the bases loaded walk. He looked like a statue up there. He knew not to chase. He didn't go below the zone where they were throwing it. So the Angels actually walk it off with a walk in a 6-5 Angels win. So that makes John a very happy host on this Monday
What's
night.
the celebration after a walk-off? Like, is it a fist pump, or are you just kind of like, that's cool, I guess?
Oh, he threw the bat and he cheered,
like flip.
Yeah, it was great.
The helmet.
It was awesome. Yeah, he did all that stuff. So good on Nolan. He's kind of awkward, but that's his second walk-off of the year. And each time it's been a little bit awkward, but also a little bit.
I mean, because how many times does that happen? A walk-off? I mean, yeah. Like, he should just total, Batista bat flip, do something just nutty. Or what was it, Junior Caminero, who had that crazy bat flip?
Oh, yeah.
Just launch that sucker just to have some fun with it, because it's not going to happen a lot.
Exactly. Hey, Manny Machado sets a Manny milestone. We're going to get to that and so much more on MLB Game Night coming right up.
If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Now, think about the last time you had a service emergency, maybe like a burst pipe, big deal, right? If the first plumber didn't answer, did you just wait around? No, you kept going down the list. You called the next one. That's why having a reliable business line is so important, and that's why you need OpenPhone. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or your computer. Juggling 2 phones, don't have to worry about that anymore. OpenPhone solves that instantly. Your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more, hey, who's handling this? You guys all be on the same page together. And the AI agent handles after-hours calls. It'll answer the common questions for people and captures leads, so you never miss a customer again. OpenPhone is offering Locked On MLB Game Night listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Getting into our final set of games, let's take it to Kansas City, where the Pirates met the Royals. The Pirates shut out the Cardinals in 3 straight games last week. There you go. But then they were shut out in all 3 games against the Mariners over the weekend. And then the Royals have picked up back-to-back series wins against those same Mariners, and then the Diamondbacks last week, and they sent Noah Cameron to the mound to face Andrew Heaney. Ended up being a 9-3 Royals victory. Gary of Locked On Pirates. Let's tune into Gary, and he's got the results, and he's also got a little bit of a lament for Pirates fans.
Well, if you've been a Pirates fan for any length of time, you've been here before, right? You follow up a dominant 6-game stretch of just winning everything and everything going right for you and every ball that's made contact with falling in, and then you fall into a 4-game losing streak where nothing you hit falls in and line drives are complete outs, and there's just absolutely nothing promising in any direction that you look. This is Gary from Locked On Pirates. As positive as that 6-game stretch made you feel, this 4-game stretch has pretty much sapped it away, which has been the story for the Pirates, really, under Ben Cherington. There's never been a real big traction moment, and you got to wonder what's going to make it come. Is the next GM going to have to be the one that shepherds it in? Maybe. I think there's a lot of people in Pittsburgh that are starting to wonder how that decision hasn't already been made, because nothing's getting better and no moves are being made. We're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow morning on Locked On Pirates.
We mentioned often on this show how the Royals need offense, and they were able to get it against your favorite guy, Andrew Heaney.
How'd you guys do that, Kansas City? He was a Cy Young Award winner against the Cardinals a week ago.
They got 9 runs, 4 home runs across Bobby Witt Jr., Salvi Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, Nick Lofton with his 188 average after this one. So, yeah, they poured it on the Pirates in Kansas City. Let's take it to Marlins meeting the Reds at Great American Ballpark. You were in attendance for this one, JD. Now, last week, we called the Marlins the hottest team in baseball. They had won 4 straight series, but they did drop the weekend series to the Brewers. And then the Reds, they've dropped their last 2 series against the Red Sox and the Phillies. Jeremiah of Locked On Marlins, he's got the highlights from his fish at Great American Ballpark. Let's hear what Jeremiah has to say.
The Marlins struck gold with Jansen Junk. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. Junk on Monday night against the Reds goes 6 innings, 1 unearned run on 1 hit, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He lowered his season ERA to 3.12. The Reds had no answer for the Marlins starting pitcher, who undoubtedly is going to be a fixture in this rotation the rest of the season. All the help he needed, he got from Agustin Ramirez. Augustine rips a 2-out RBI double to right center and then follows it up in the 7th inning with about a 550-foot home run. At least it looked like that to me. Deep to left, his power is gargantuan, and the Marlins take game 1 by a score of 5-1. Let's run it back tomorrow. Let's go fish.
Was it really 550 feet, JD? What do you think?
He's a smidge off, 420, but
that's still pretty good.
It was a bomb, though. Yeah. Like, it was high. 109 StatCast had that one off the bat, but I don't know. It's kind of tough because it went over where, like, so they put up the Ks for strikeouts for Reds pitchers, and it hit right by those and popped over. I mean, that's a bomb into the bleachers at GABP. So, he didn't get cheated on that one.
Yeah, you'll love to see it, especially from like a young team and a young rookie like that. Maybe we'll be talking about Rookie of the Year for Agustin Ramirez at some point during this season. JD, can you take us to Chicago, where the Blue Jays met up with the White Sox?
Yeah, Blue Jays, talk about a team on fire right now, right? Had a perfect 7-game homestand against the Yanks and the Angels. Sorry, John.
Yep.
Winning all 7 games, taking first in the American League East, and then continued their streak on Monday by taking down the White Sox by a score of 8-4 to win their 9th in a row. It's the longest winning streak for the Blue Jays since 2015. Jose Barrios, 6 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, 4 Ks. He's been very solid. They're not like eye-popping numbers that he puts out there, but all of a sudden you look up and you're like, this dude has given up nothing for
consistent.
5 or 6 innings. He just keeps doing it. And then they get home runs. And this is what is so good about the Blue Jays offense is that, the big guys, Vladdy, Bo Bichette, you're familiar with Alejandro Kirk. He's not a star yet, but he's starting to make a name for himself. but they get home runs in this game from guys most people have never heard of, like Joey Loperfido and Nathan Lucas and Addison Barger. I dare you to find Blue Jays fans who knew who those three dudes were.
I'm very familiar with Addison Barger now because he had two
sure you are.
winning hits against us.
They're starting to learn these names, but like it's just they continue to get production from other people other than just their stars. Their lineup is impressive, and my favorite thing about them, they don't strike out a lot. People are probably tired of me saying that, but that's what makes them so special. They're always putting the ball in play, and the more you do that, the more holes you're going to find, the more pressure you put on the defense, and they're winning ball games with it. They're getting solid pitching. Offense is doing what it needs to do, and it's never like Cleveland where it just relies on one guy to get him through. It's not all on Vladdy Guerrero Jr.'s shoulders, and it's working for him. They now lead the AL East by 3.5 games.
Look at them, and at the expense of my Angels over the weekend. But you're right; they kept putting the ball in play, and they just wouldn't stop. They were a steamroller over the weekend. Let's take it to Fenway, where the Red Sox enjoyed a sweep of the Nationals over the weekend. They're back in the mix for the AL wild card. I know it's still relatively early, but it never hurts to be close to a playoff spot at any point of the season. The Rockies hosted the White Sox. They managed to salvage the series with a win on Sunday, so they didn't get swept. These two met at Fenway, where Roman Anthony sets a personal goal. Gabby from Locked On Red Sox has her thoughts on Roman Anthony's contributions and kind of guesses what his future might be in Boston.
The Red Sox just might have found their DH of the future in Roman Anthony. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, where the Red Sox won 9-3 against the Colorado Rockies tonight to kick off a 3-game series. And that came with a huge offensive night from Roman Anthony, who recorded 3 hits, including his first Fenway Park home run of his career. And Roman Anthony has absolutely raked in the DH spot, but the Red Sox are looking to utilize him a lot in the outfield. But if he continues to hit as well as he is as the designated hitter, it's going to be hard to argue against him being used more in that DH spot. And he was the number 1 prospect in the sport for a reason. I'm so excited to see more of him, but he just swings with a lot of confidence when he's hitting in that DH spot. So it really makes you wonder if the Red Sox would have him not really play as much in the outfield moving forward. Tune into Locked On Red Sox on any podcast platform for more.
Yeah, the Red Sox walk away with a 9-3 victory over those Rockies. Helps increase their win column as they try to get back into the mix. JD, finally, take us to San Diego, my friend, where the Diamondbacks met the Padres.
Yeah, San Diego, a Wales. We won't go there. We won't say that. But Yu Darvish, it was a big deal. Yu Darvish was back on the mound for the Padres in this one. First time he's been on the Major League mound so far this season. He's been dealing with some arm issues. Went toe-to-toe with Zach Gallen of the D-backs, who had a really good start his last time out, has struggled for most of the year, though. So interesting to see how this would this one would go down at Petco. Now, the Diamondbacks got some bad news before the game actually started. Late scratch, their star second baseman, NL All-Star starter at second base, Ketel Marte, right growing tightness, and is listed as day-to-day. They don't think it's anything major, but they're being careful because he already dealt with a hammy issue this year, and that cost him about a month, so don't want to lose him again. Shelby Miller, their closer right now on the IL, joining a bunch of other pitchers that are on the IL. If you close for the Diamondbacks, you're going to get hurt. Apparently, that's what's happening this year, so be careful. Ginkel, who came in today and was closing. But anyway, the Diamondbacks ended up taking this one by a score of 6-3. Gallen was really, really good again. 6 innings, 1 run, none of them earned. 5 hits, 9 strikeouts. They got big offensive nights from Josh Naylor, Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Yu Darvish only 3 2/3, still on a pitch count as he eases his way back into things. Gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, 5 Ks, 3 walks. But Manny Machado, the big story in this one, despite losing, got his 2,000th career hit in the 4th inning, just the 5th active player with more than 2,000 hits, joining Freddie Freeman, Jose Altuve, Andrew McCutchen, and Paul Goldschmidt. He went 3 for 5, had a home run as well in this one, and just continues to hit those milestones. Already got up to the 350 mark in dingers this year as well. So Machado continues to solidify his place in Cooperstown moving forward. He's still got a long way to go to. I think there's like 8 years on that contract in
Wow.
San Diego. So he's going to be around for a while. 3,000 hits on the horizon next.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time to get there as well. Well, we thank you for joining us for this episode of Locked On MLB Game Night. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, do all the things. Let your friends know about us. We thank you for being here. Every single night we're here for you going around the league. Until next episode, this is MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.